Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. And today we got a review of one of my favorite DVDs, The Clash of the Champions, the best of WCW's Clash of the Champions. I am going to bring back the rating system for this review because this is one of my favorite DVDs overall and packaging wise. Absolutely love it. I'll briefly run down the Blu-rays as well, or the extras, so we have that to look forward to. For a brief history lesson, Clash of Champions was kind of their answer to free TV, but doing a major kind of special on TBS, and they dubbed it Clash of the Champions, where they would have big big title matches and whatnot. They only did about 4 a year from 88 through 1994, and 95, 96, and 97, they only did two per year. So there's 35 Clash of Champions overall. And, these are actually some pretty big events. They went up twice against WrestleMania's 4 and 5. And this was a pretty big deal since it was before the Monday Night Wars. So let's get into this. This was one of Dusty Rhodes' ideas, the Clash of the Champions. So for close to a decade, professional wrestling fans mark their calendars in anticipation of Clash of the Champions, a primetime spectacle featuring the biggest and brightest stars of the NWA and WCW. Over the course of 35 events from 88 through 97, legendary performers such as Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Sting, the NWO were showcased to settle some of the most hotly contested rivalries and to achieve championship glory. Of course, in the mid-90s, 94, 95, WCW would increase their pay-per-views, and that's kind of what led to Clash of Champions being abolished or abandoned, because then Nitro also started in 95, so they were doing Nitro and Clash of Champions on free TV, and then they increased their pay-per-views in early, maybe middle of 94, 95. And WWE increased their pay-per-views, and then WCW said, let's do one a month, and then WWE said, let's do one a month. So this is hosted by 3-time NWA champion, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This delivers 24 of the greatest matches over 3 discs. This is 7 hours. Wish it could have been it could have been 9 hours. So relive some of the golden moments from sports entertainment that challenged WWE for rating supremacy long before the infamous Monday Night Wars. So let's get into the matches and whatnot. Beautiful artwork. Got stunning Steve Austin there, Hogan and Flair. So disc 1, Dusty Rhodes kind of breaks down the story of Clash of the Champions. Then we got Ric Flair versus Sting, the first clash. This went up against WrestleMania 4. I'm not going to run down each and every date here, but also on the same day, Arn and Tully versus Luger and Barry Windham. June of 88, Arn and Tully versus Sting and Dusty Rhodes. Ricky Morton versus Ivan Koloff. Ric Flair versus Terry Funk. This was the I Quit match at Clash of Champions 9. Mil Mascaras versus Cactus Jack Manson. Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express. Disc 2, Ric Flair versus Lex Luger. We got the Young Pistols and Z-Man versus the Fabulous Freebirds. A 15-man battle royal. Sting versus Rick Rude. Flair and Arn versus the Hollywood Blondes. Pillman versus Stunning Steve Austin, awesome. Steven Regal versus Dustin Rhodes. Sting and Flair versus Rick Rude and Vader. This was, of course, Ric Flair's kind of comeback to WCW, and eventually led to them doing a unification match at a Bash at the Beach '94 between Hogan and Flair. We got Sting versus Flair, this is disc 3. Stunning Steve Austin versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Hogan and Savage versus Flair and the Giant. We got Medusa versus Bull Nakano. DDP versus Eddie Guerrero, awesome. Harlem Heat versus the Steiners versus Sting and Luger. Ultimo Dragon versus Dean Malenko. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero. DDP and Lex Luger versus Scott Hall and the Macho Man. And that wraps it up for the matches. So overall, I think I'm going to give this one a good 8 out of 10 for content. Most of these matches are fairly good, with most of these matches going about 20 minutes or so. That Ric Flair and Sting match goes 45 minutes to a draw. My one complaint is you got about 2 hours of real estate on here. You could have put a few extra matches, even if it was 4 or 5 extra matches. Could have been a lot of space. 2 hours. So let's get into the artwork and packaging part of this review, and then I'll give you my final score. So here we'd have the Clash of Champions 3-disc set. All of this is pretty much embossed here. We got the nice metallic gold for a majority of this set, which really is beautiful. You do have a bordered cover, which makes it pop out even more. And nice shot from the first Clash with Sting versus Ric Flair. So like I said, it runs about 7 hours. Got a shot of Jericho, Guerrero, Dusty Rhodes, Scott Hall, Sting and Flair once again. The Blu-ray is almost the same, but it says it's about 7.5 hours. So realistically, it seems like they only added half hour, but we have about 1 to 4 extra matches, 3 extra matches. Yeah, we got Flair and Barry Windham versus the Midnight Express. Sting and Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude and Steve Austin. And then the Thunder Cage match, Dustin Rhodes and Sting versus Vader, Orndorff, and Barry Windham. So that's really cool. Yeah, that Thunder Cage match really threw me off. I'll have to watch that one again, because I've been recently watching all these weird cage type matches from WCW back in this time period. So discard on the Blu-ray, pretty cool. Just the Thunderbolt logo. Interior artwork, we got a lot of this gold everywhere, with a lot of the names and whatnot. You got Stunning Steve Austin, Hogan and Flair, and discard is pretty much the same, just for the DVD. And you got a picture of Sting, or Steamboat, sorry. There's Sting and Rick Rude. And then you got Flair and Savage. Really cool. He's got the Slim Jim tights on. And then, like I said, you got a lot of that gold lettering all around. It is really hard to read. That's my only complaint about it. But it does look beautiful. Something I'd like to see done again is, a couple of these 3-disc sets. Digipack-wise. So this is kind of what I look for in 3-disc sets. You got the dates, the locations, who it is. Who it is doesn't really matter to me, but where and when is a big thing to me. You know, because sometimes they'll just put a picture of, you know, Steve Austin, and it could be any picture. It could just be a stock photo. But here we got, you know, Austin and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The date, August of 94. Which Clash of Champions it was. So those things are really important to me. Anyways, you know, some people really don't care. I like it. Overall, I think I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10 on the packaging. I think this is really well done. Let's take a look at that spine. It's really nice and gold. You know, I think the picture could have been omitted, but I love that, seeing the WCW logo there, and, you know, just Clash of Champions logo, Clash of the Champions. 9 out of 10, bringing us a score of 17 out of 20. This DVD was really well done. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.